first person better, please. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a great time. Take care.
Yes, we've been able to connect probably on 5 projects now that NextTech's been able to fund. The picture above is another success story. That's Birdsall Automotive in Plainville. Again, signed up for SBDC services and wanted to start his own automotive mechanic shop. And I think they got a neat network campus loan as well. I know they got the NextTech revolving loan fund. As you can see, if you're not familiar with our senators, Roger Marshall stopped in on that ribbon cutting, and so that's kind of the impact that we've been able to kind of see. Is it's not just regional, locally, it gets some state recognition as well from the collaboration and working with our clients and making sure they're your clients as well. And I would encourage you, and if you're not familiar with NextTech revolving loan fund within your region, reach out to them and talk to them about the businesses that you can send to them and see if it might fit within your own economic development. So that's the outcomes. That's where we come in, and again, the process that it takes, it may take a year or longer, but we have a process, and so that's kind of the next 15 minutes or so. It's kind of the other part to get them to speak first. It cuts down our time, they get to listen to us. The process of signing up, working with us, what we provide in research, questionnaires, development, and the execution of it. Simplest way to connect, two simple ways to refer your startups and entrepreneurs as you talk to them. One, go to the Innovation Center website, nwkeici.org, look at business services, the drop-down menu, it'll say Kansas SBDC Center there. Second way is to go directly to the kansasSBDC.net website, and again, read about SBDC services and what are provided, and become a client. And it's going to take those individuals to the Sign Up e-Center, which is the top piece. Real easy to sign up, name, email, password. From there, they can actually sign up and not be a business if you just want to sign up yourself, so that way you have access to training. Wichita State puts on online training for all kinds of various things. Johnson County Community College also puts on a lot of training. As just signing up as an individual, you can get access to SBDC services. But from there, they sign up and then they go through, you can see little dots above. Fill out the information, talk about their business, what they're looking for. It's great when they do a referral, so if they're coming for Friday could usually ask them to stick that in there, NextTech's referral. If they're coming from one of the Eco Devos out here, and that's a referral, great, because when they get through that process, it should, if they're in the 26 county region, it should automatically assign them to Innovation Center, but not necessarily. We want them to pick that, so that way they work with either one of us. But sometimes they will see, because again, Fort Hays has a region here, so they may select Fort Hays and be assigned to Susan, or if they're over in Saline County or Ellsworth County over on the eastern part of our region, they might see, like Washburn covers Manhattan. Sometimes they want to select Manhattan, Washburn's, and work with that. And that's fine if they want to work with them. They provide the same services, but if they want to get routed here, so that way they're working directly with us, they do need to pick that Innovation Center site as their region. From that sign up then, the next steps that they'll walk through, I'll get an email as the director almost immediately upon that sign up. So if they sign, doom scrolling Facebook at 2 in the morning and they decide that that's the time they want to start their own business, I'll get an email at 2 in the morning saying somebody signed up for services. That email comes to me, and I try to, within a day, usually within 48 hours, I'm going to send a direct email coming from me to ask that person to schedule a 30-minute onboarding phone call. So they'll get that email from me to to schedule that call. They get a link to my calendar so they can do it at their convenience. That first phone call then, I will go through all the information that they put in on sign up. We are state and federally funded, so there are requirements that we need to verify, name, email, phone, address, make sure that's all correct. If they didn't fat finger something, make sure all the information's right. Minority status, women-owned business, disability status, military status, those kind of things that, again, being government funded, they want that information in there on. And some of those things, especially like women-owned businesses and military status, they open up other opportunities that are out there for lending capacity. So that's the other reason to kind of verify those things. Part of my process of onboarding them too is to talk to them about what led you to our service, what was the referral service, what was that like? Next Tech referred me, they have a revolving loan fund. What else do you know about that? What has been in your engagement at this point? Are you working with a bank already or a banker? Have you talked to them about your business idea? Are you working with an accountant or CPA? Do you have insurance? Have you thought about that if you're getting in business? You need an insurance agent probably. Your local Eco-Vivo, have you talked to them about anything yet? Sometimes they yes, they've done all those things, and sometimes no. And I do find the more they have talked about their business to somebody else, like they've gone to the bank and the bank's maybe they're like, yeah, I went to the bank, they're not going to lend to me, but I did tell them my idea, and they kind of said sign up for SBDC services. That gives me an indication right then that at least they've talked to somebody through this idea. If they were signed up at 2 in the morning and haven't talked to anybody, it's going to be a much, much longer process. So once I get through that information, so today's Tuesday, let's use that as an example. They scheduled with me, I've gone through that 30-minute call just to verify all their information, what they're looking for. Can we provide those services? So a couple areas we do not provide services if they've signed up and they're wanting to start a nonprofit. That happens a few times a year. Dana might send some to daycare. That happens every once in a while. They want to start a nonprofit daycare. Unfortunately, SBDC services can't work with nonprofits. Sometimes they have a very huge idea. We've had somebody sign up that was trying to compete with Boeing and needed government contracts and these kind of things. And when you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars, I don't know if that's a small business. So that process of onboarding is also kind of weed out some of these other things that we probably can't work with. But assuming they can, it's Tuesday, they signed up, I got through that call, I think, yes, we can provide you services, counseling. What I do then is, Mason and I meet on Friday mornings, and I let them know that we're gonna meet on Friday mornings, and we're gonna talk about all the signups for this week. So it might be just that one sign up, and we'll have that, but sometimes we have 5 signups in a week. And on Friday, we get together and we talk about our schedules, where our expertise lie, what this client is looking for. If they're looking for a full financial plan and business planning, that's going to be a big process. If they're looking for marketing help, I'll lean heavily on Mason. I have no marketing background, but if they sign up because they're just trying to figure out how to market them things. But we'll talk about that on Friday and get an idea. And so on Friday, that client will get another email, either come from myself or from Mason, saying, we've got all your information, we got a couple pages of notes from your onboarding, and now we're ready to get that ball rolling. So please schedule your next thing, and then we start moving as quickly as that client wants us to move with them. So they get scheduled, and we try to keep them very routinely on what that schedule looks like. So from there, I'm going to turn it over to Mason and let him kind of talk about what the scheduling and what we require as far as the meeting and planning.
Yeah, so after they got through that process, Michael and I have had our meeting, and they get assigned to one of us as their advisor. So usually that first meeting will kind of start as a roadmap. This roadmap is a checklist. What are the things that you need to do to make sure that you're going to be on top of the ball? So if you thought about every challenge or every option, most of the time, majority of the time, it's demonstrating to lenders that you have the before thought and the afterthought of what's going to happen before and after this business is viable. And how are you going to make it so that they get their money back and you stay solid? So we walk them through that entire process. Then we move on to the business plan. A lot of them, especially nowadays, now that AI is more prevalent, we get a lot of them. You show up and it looks like Yep, they said, I want to start XYZ business, threw it into ChatGPT and submitted that to us. AI is great for things like that to at least kind of start the process. It is not the end all, it should not be the submission that they submit to you guys as the final say, because it will get things wrong. It will get, we have one guy said that he was gonna make $1 million in his first year doing like power washing. Well, that's what ChatGPT told me. Said, well, it's pulling data saying that if you did that basically 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in New York City, yep, you could make $1 million. Here in Western Kansas, probably not. So we walk through that. We take that business plan and we have a template of our own that we walk through. Michael took it and broke it down even further so we can send it one piece at a time. And the thing that helps us along the most is hearing the story. Why do you even want to do this? What is the reason for you wanting to put yourself on the line like this? What are you looking to get out of this? If it's just money, it's probably not going to work. You gotta have some kind of passion. If it's going to be something that's labor intensive, like a restaurant, have you thought about the implications of what that's going to do if you want a family? Restaurants they're constant. Businesses like that, or if you're going to have to travel for markets and materials. So we walk them through that entire process. And as we go through that checklist, then we start building that out. Then we can move on to the next section and start looking at financials. So what is it that you want? What is the gap? The barrier between you and the business has been defined. Now we got to figure out a way to fund it. So you tell us what you have. What do you think you can sell? And a lot of this starts with their own kind of information. Some of it's, yellow legal pad, notebook paper. Here's what I think I have. Here's the list of equipment that I need. Currently what it's selling for, all that information. We take that and we've got a financial projections workbook that we work with. And all of that, we can punch it in, calculate it out, and it'll tell us if we actually have the capability to make this a cash flow project. Will it be able to pay back the lenders? Will it be able to allow you to be profitable beyond everybody being paid off? There are some, it says, yep, everybody gets paid except for you, and you don't get paid ever because it just doesn't cash flow enough. Most of them are like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. I don't blame you. So we walk through that entire process with them, and then we move on to the next step of actually researching a lot of that information. Okay.
You got 5 minutes, we gotta run through us.
Run.
4 minutes makes sense.
Alright.
5, 4.
So, as they gather their information, they're giving it back to us, business plan information, and we're working financials and those kind of things. We do have access through the SBDC, a couple different industry research tools. So I'll just highlight them quickly. IBIS World gives us good market size data. It starts at the U.S. level, so I think we have restaurants, hotels there. We can pull up all kinds of different businesses, and then we can drill that down to state level, which we often do. We can also drill down a little bit to county level. At county level, it gets pretty sporadic, unless you're in Sedgwick or Johnson County where there's lots of data. But out here, at the county level, what we're usually looking for is household income and just unemployment rates and stuff to kind of add to your business plan. If you're going into business in Osborne County or Norton County, you kind of want to have an idea what the household income is, disposable income is to your business if you're starting it up. And the other one is Profit Sense that we have access to, which gives us great financial data as far as your net profit in that industry, gross profit, expenses. As we're putting financials together, a lot of times we're like, oh, we're net 40%, and you're thinking, well, the industry says you're only net 10. Maybe we should start looking at this and seeing where you think you're cutting expenses that maybe we need to add back in, or really think about what you're presenting to the bank. It's up to them to send it to the bank, but oftentimes the bank will say, where'd you get these numbers? And now we have to start scrutinizing a little. Basic touch on AI, so I subscribe to Gemini, Google's Gemini, and I do use that service to work through business planning. Mason has access to subscription to Claude, and so we have those services as well within our platform. And then again, the network itself, if they sign up and they're looking for QuickBooks help, We don't have that expertise directly, and so what I would do is reach out. There's the director in Pittsburgh is a certified QuickBooks specialist, so if they sign up for those kind of tax accounting services and they're looking for that help, if we can't help them directly, we'll get them within the network somewhere else. If they're looking to expand their manufacturing, Johnson County has a couple of advisors there that are certified in international trade and those kind of things. So we use our network strength as well within SBDC to find if it's something that we're not really good at. What we're really good at within our region is business plans and financial projections and some marketing details. Beyond that, we lean on our resources. Wrapping up real impacts, 2025, our numbers, 32 capital transactions again through Nextech, Network Kansas, E-Community Loan Funds, SBA, bank loans, $4.9 million through 32 different transactions. We were responsible for 25% of the new business startups in the state of Kansas. So again, we're running a rural area, but we run hard and work with everybody through the whole process. All kinds of different businesses, and that created 62 new jobs or supported those jobs in 2025. 2026 for this year, as I sat down at the end of last year and starting this year, and what I wanted to see us do with the SBDC and our business services, as we're doing today, bring awareness to our services. I've been out to speak to many of the Eco Devos throughout the region. I continue to plan to do that throughout the year, and just let you know that as you, as Eco Devos individuals, are right there in your communities in Sharon Springs and Bird City and in Minneapolis or wherever, you're trying to, help with grants with your cities and counties. You're trying to tackle housing, daycare, innovation centers, part of all that. Let us take some of that burden. If you got somebody that's wanting to start a business, and let us help you get them at least through some of that process, business plan, financials. We'll turn it back over to you to submit to your revolving loan fund committees, to Network Kansas, or help them go on to the bank, and you can take all the credit you want. We just want to be a resource for you. So that's my goal through 2026, is to continue to reach out to the Eco Devos in the region and let them know how we can help and collaborate and find some successes for you. So with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you, and if we got a little bit of time for some questions, we'll try to take them.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think the significance of the 25% of all business starts of KSBDC network, realize they're covering 6% of the population of the whole state of Kansas, and they got 25% of the business starts of the whole network. So I think that's pretty significant as well. Next.